Welcome back to our WordPress Mastery Bootcamp. In the past weeks, we've looked at a couple of things. We looked at the basic foundations of WordPress. We've discussed what WordPress is, the difference between WordPress.com and .org. We've also looked at what you could build with WordPress, how WordPress works, and some real-life examples of sites that use WordPress. Currently, there are over 40% of the total websites online are built on WordPress. So we looked at a couple of those things. We also set up our domain, local hosting, and the local setup. We also did XAMPP and local WP. Currently, we're using Infinity Free. So if you've not set up yours, do well to watch the replays of the other classes and set that up. Also looked at different hosting platforms, how you could set up managed WordPress hosting or shared hosting or WMVPS using Namecheap, Go54, InMotion, whatever you want to use, Bluehost, and anyone that you can think of based on your budget. We also looked at the basic understanding of the WordPress dashboard, admin, user roles, settings, media library. And our last class, we had post versus pages. Get to look at how to build or how to populate your content. We looked at the difference between posts and pages, categories and tags. We've also looked at creating and formatting content, particularly using the Gutenberg, that's the block editor. And today, we'll be looking at themes and site appearance. Now we want to make our website beautiful. We want to go into the nitty-gritty of web design. We've gone through the periphery and every other thing. We want to look at what themes do and how the difference between free themes, the premium themes, how to install and activate them, and also customize our themes. And we'll look a bit into the menus, widgets, and to just start up our homepage. Particularly today, we would use a theme, so we would not do so much of the design. But in the next class, then we will get to talk about plugins. Then we'll now look into designing fully when we install all the plugins that we need. But today, let's just look at themes and site appearance. So the first things first, what do themes do? So I would share my screen with my current site, the one that I'm building. Yes, let's look at this and see what we can do with this. So with themes, I know you may be wondering, what are themes? If you've ever designed designing anything on Canva, then you would know what themes are. Themes are basically templates. So I want to design something. I don't want to go through the stress of doing so or building everything from scratch. I want to go through the stress of building everything from scratch. How do I use a predefined template? Yes, that's what themes do. So if you want to start that, you come into appearance. You already know what our website looks like. I told you how to get there. If I click on visit site, I will get to the website and you see a sample. This is what the website we have. This is what it is. I know we did not touch the homepage. What we built, we created an about page in our last class, which is simple as this. Every content you see here, we added its edge titles is blah blah. Okay, so we added the periodic table just to show you how you can add images. Privacy policy, these are policy pages that you could create depending on what you want to do. So back to our themes. We said the first thing we're going to look at is themes. So what are themes? I've explained that themes are kind of templates that you work on. If you want to find themes on your WordPress, you go to appearance and you click on themes. I explained this in our last class. So here you have different themes. These are the default themes that come with WordPress 2025, 2024, 2023. I think if you maybe we'll soon have 2026, but just this is how they are sampled. But if you want to add a theme, what you can do is click on this. You see here, these are themes you already have installed on your website. If you want to add a new one, you could just, if you are looking for, let's say you have multiple themes, you can see all of them here, but you don't need multiple themes. When we start learning, I will tell you, when we get to optimization, that should be like towards the end of our class, I'll explain to you why you don't need so much themes. If you want to delete this first, just click on theme, look at this. Now that you have multiple themes, let me show you something. If I click on activate, I can do this because we've not built anything. You see this, I've activated 2024, it's no longer 2025. If I go to my site, I should see some changes. If the changes, now you see the text has changed because each of them had different, they have different settings and everything. Now you can see this. It has automatically changed because I used a new theme. New themes have the different customizations and everything, so it affects it. But do not be quick to change your themes because sometimes you may have finished editing everything and you just mistakenly change your theme, or you want to try a new theme and you click on that and every progress that you have made will just disappear. So you don't want to risk that. So I can just build this because I haven't done anything, but I want to show us how to add a new theme. We know we said we've already talked about what the themes do. They are templates and they make your work faster and simpler. You don't have to go through the hassle of building every single section, every single page. You can just use a theme and it will make your work faster. So how do we find themes? You click on add theme. There are different ways to add a theme to your website. You could look for a theme from this WordPress repository. You could look for a theme here, or you could buy a theme from any other platform. There are different platforms that sell themes. An example is Theme Forest. This is the #1 that we know in the world currently. I know there are maybe others, DV and the rest. So this is Theme Forest. You could come here and look for anything you want. This is where we buy our themes. Anything you want, just come here, search. If you are looking, let's say you want to build a, let's say an energy website. You want to build something for an energy company. So let me see, energy theme, WordPress. An energy theme for WordPress. Yeah, so you see different themes here. These themes are different. You could find anyone. Just you can go through them to find anyone that matches what you are looking for. Let's say you're a builder and you need you design with Elementor. You can look for themes that have Elementor enabled, or you could look, there are some that would have WP Bakery or Gutenberg. Whatever you are looking for, just search for the theme and know what you want. So you look for what you want. There are many themes here. Before you buy, ensure that you don't not just do preview. Live preview shows you what the theme looks like. Let me click on one. Then if you want to look at more details of the theme, you should click on the theme, then you open and see. So the particular theme I chose, this is what it looks like. These are the features of that particular theme. This as IRA rather. Era. So it costs $39. You can increase this support if you want support from the theme producer, the team owners. Then to look at the detail here. Gutenberg, it's not optimized for Gutenberg. It has high resolution. Its widgets are ready to go. We'll talk about widgets later. It's compatible with Firefox, Safari, Opera. So these are some of the things you need to look at. It's also compatible with Elementor Contact Form 7. I love building with Elementor. So if I'm buying themes, I buy themes that are Elementor enabled. Software version 6. WordPress 6.9, PHP files, you can do that, CSS, and also you just see what it entails, like the features. Then look at what it looks like as a preview if you want to test it out. So look at what you can do with it. This is what the website looks like. So you need to check all these things. These are these things that you want. If you want your site to look like this, things like this, have this kind of feel. You see this, you want your website to have this kind of feel. That's why you get the theme. So each theme has a separate feel. They don't look alike. They don't do the same thing. They are not as responsive as say. See all these things. If you go to other sites, you may not be able to access all this. So you see how this one is interactive and everything. This is what comes with a theme. And the things that make all these things possible are the different plugins that are on that theme. See the logo. Not every website can do this. If you think it's a joke, let me look for another website. Let me try this one. Live preview. You see that it's different from this. So you can check out the pages. So if you want to build something, let's say a client says, or a client has something in mind, you look for a theme that best explains or expresses what that client has in mind. That's how you get to. So this is the contact page, about page rather. I feel like the text is too big though. So that's the era theme. This is that. Let me open this solo. This looks like a solar energy. Yeah, I said it. So solar energy. It has different templates inside. So I'm already seeing that it's Elementor enabled because I'm seeing this is the Elementor interface. So these are what things can do. You just make your work simpler. So if you buy this theme, all you have to do is just to edit. The website has already been designed. You just have to edit, change. If you see picture, you change the picture to the picture. You see a text, you change the text to your text. So that's how it works. So you see this is different from the other site that we saw. You see how they are. So you just play around it, responsiveness. You can customize everything, all the colors here, everything that's green here, you can change it to any other color you want. You see this? It has a dot that is rolling around, playful and interactive. Themes give you this. So let me close all the themes because we are not using any of this. This is a training, so as much as we can, you know that there are paid themes and there are free themes. So with a brief explanation of what we just did, you know that we have different kind of themes, right? So we have free themes and we have premium themes. The ones I showed you on Theme Forests, they are premium themes. When we say premium, that means you have to pay for them. Everything you see on Theme Forest, I don't think there's a free theme here, right? I don't think there's a free theme on Theme Forest. Everything you see here has a price tag, so it's premium. When you buy it, it gives you access to everything, the developer options. You have access to customer service for a period of a limited time as long as your subscription lasts. You also have all the plugins that come with it. For that period, all the plugins will be, if they are pro plugins, you can have access to them for that period. Yes. Then for our setup, we have free themes. An example is all these 24 that you see here. Yes. Then Astra is a free theme, but it has pro elements. Like if you want to use the pro elements of Astra, you would need to pay for Astra Pro. Same thing with Cadence. Same thing with Ocean WP. You have limited usage. You have limited usage, but so you can see all the themes here. Anyone that you like, you can choose. But for this training, you may want to stick with Astra. I will show you a couple of things. So let's not, yeah, okay, yes, Astra. I've used Astra, I've used Cadence, I've used Ocean WP. If I'm building free websites or sites I want to customize a lot, but I have a lot of other things. If I log into my Theme Forest account, you would see I have a lot of themes. I have, yeah, not, let me not say a lot, but my login is not here. Just give me a second. I would log into my Theme Forest account and I can show you that, but let's proceed for now. While I log in, let's get on to let's install Astra. So you click on, if you want to preview, you can preview. If you want to do just the way we preview the other ones, you can do that. But now you see what Astra looks like. So let's install. You can install from the other way. You can also install from preview. So after installation, next thing you activate. After installing, ensure you activate. Okay, it's loading. Now you can see from my themes that Astra has been added to my theme. If you want to know if Astra has been added or not, let's see this. Let me refresh the website. And voila, it has changed. Still the same content, but it has changed. I will show you more things to do. About, let me see the about page. The about page has changed shape too, but I will show you more things that we need to do to make it look like the template that we want. To get that, there's something. Okay, let me just go back to show us. I said I was going to show us the themes that I have. So let me show us. I've logged into my Theme Forest account. If I go to my downloads, I would see all the themes that I have. So I have Listivo. This is for listing properties on a website. Nesting, this is also a real estate website theme. Freshio is for organic food. If you have food brands. Zegen is for church. Then I also have Bacola. Bacola is the grocery store for people who sell food. I've used it for a couple of clients. Industry is for energy and engineering companies. Ed School is for school educational purposes that you can also do add learning management systems. Our energy is for solar and also engineering businesses. Pool care is for swimming pool. Top icon is for non-profit and charity. EduMall is for school and learning. So you see a couple of themes that I have. These are paid themes that we bought over the period that we used, and we have access to them. Because you bought them one time, you have access to them, but we don't have support and license anymore because it has expired. After like 3 to 6 months, you can lose all those, but you still have access to download the theme and use them on any site that you want. So if you download a theme, there are different ways to use a theme. Like I was explaining earlier, right? When you have done, when you have paid for your theme and bought the theme, when you download it, you can upload it on your website. You can upload it on your website. What we did here, let me see what I'm sharing. Okay, so you can go back to our website. Yes, so add theme. These ones are the themes that I currently have. If you want to add a theme, there are two ways. You can either upload, you see this, so I can upload a theme. I choose the theme file from my laptop. Yes, so I can choose the file from my laptop and I will be able to do that. Let me share my full screen. So you see this, if I go back, if I choose this, then I can be able, I will just get into my system wherever I am, have resources, web design. So themes, I can come here and choose any theme that I want. And once I click on it, I will install it. Then I can proceed. Okay, let me just try doing one. Let me try doing, let's try this. I can just upload one theme. I'll still go back to my Astra, but I just want to show us what it means to upload a theme and what it looks like. You should not be uploading too many themes because once you do this, each time you do this, you create an extra file on your WordPress and you are increasing the volume of your WordPress. The link you followed has expired. Please try again. Let me see. Maybe I may need to download a new theme. That theme I've not used this theme in a long time. I may need to download a new one. If it doesn't work again, then I may need to download a new one or just clear my C panel. Because each time I create a new theme, I create a new file on my C panel. And if you have limited resources, you should not be doing that because you're using space. So I'm trying to open my file manager on here to see. Okay, this is not your regular C panel though. Let me just see if it uploads. If it does not upload, then I will just think it's not uploading. So let's go back and use what we already have. But if you want to do that, this is a free thing. If I go to my other sites that I'm hosting or that I have access to, you can just do that easily. But let's not spend so much time on it. So the theme is activated, the Astra rather is activated. And in our, according to our slides, we should be doing something else. Let me see. Yes. So according to our slides, essential, let me see, let's go back. We looked at themes, we installed the themes and activated the theme. Then now let's go to customizer before we look at menus, widgets, then homepage setup. So we've looked at what themes do. We've looked at free themes and premium themes. We've also looked at installing and activated themes. We've done that. So let's customize our theme. Let's do a bit of customization. Click on the customize button here. And we can begin to customize. Customization has to do with many things, your site identity, your fonts, your text, every of those things. That's what customization does for you. So look at it. It says more options available in Astra Pro. I told you these are free things, but it's premium. You are limited in what you can do. After a while, you need to upgrade to be able to do other things. You click on that, it will take you to how to pay for that particular thing. So you see the price, $69. If you just, yeah, $69, 119 and 159, depending on what you want. So let's look at this. Global settings. The global settings that you can use are typography. You can change your font. That's what you can do. You can change the size of everything, your H1, H2, H3, everything, your body, headings. So if we change anything here, let's say the body font, I can choose a font family now. Let me change it to something that will be visible. So you see that my sample page has changed because I changed font family. So now you see that you can. So if you have you're designing for a business, you should know their brand and use that. So you don't just choose any random something. You use based on the brand that you're working with. So you can change the font family and everything. So you can see these are different font families that you have. But based on the brand identity, you can pick something. So I just wanted you to know that. So that's it for typography. You do the same for H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6 if you want to maintain that. But when you do inherit, it just takes global settings. So that's what you do for typography. For colors, you can choose your colors here. This is your color palette. Accents for links, your links. Look at this now. You see the link here, you see blue. That's showing where if I change it, let's say my brand is not blue. I want to change my theme. I can change it. Look at this. They have different global palettes. But if you know the in particular color palette or particular colors of the brand, you don't need to use different. You just come and pick exactly what they are. Now you see this, I've already done that. Look at my links. I've changed the colors to pink or deep red. So you can see what it does. Your heading, you can change it. Let me say I want my heading to have this red color. Now you see that my heading has changed to red. Then I want my link to have different color. When I hover on the link, you see this, that's the red here. The normal one is this. Then the normal accent, I can change my accent to baby pink. Now you see that. So everything, you can play around your colors, your H1, H2, H2, H6. You can change the colors here. Your border, you can change them. Body text, I can change my body text. But your body text needs to be something you can see. I've made it darker. You see, it has become black. I can make it red, but don't do that. You're not, yeah. So playing around it, you understand what you can do. Your site background, let's say you want to change. If you notice the background of this text of this site is not white, it's not pure white, it's like a shade of pink, something light. So sometimes you can build for a site, so a client and the client that wants dark color of your site, the site color will be dark. If I publish this, let me see. Site background, let me publish it and check out my other pages if it will affect it. Okay, hasn't it reflected yet? Okay, let me try something else. Site background, let me restore. Then let me change content background to black and see what it looks like. Yes, okay, so something like this. So you can see You can change this. You can change everything. If you change the content background, you can move. If, let's say you want to maintain the dark theme, you can change the content background, then body text, and change this to white. Now you see the difference. So you can implement this if you want. Or let me leave it at the original that we want. Refresh it back to normal. Yeah. So I think we now you understand what the colors can do. That's how colors work. Let's change this, but it's not reflecting it. Let me refresh. So when we talk about customization, this is basically what we mean, just changing these individual details of the website. When we come to global, we've changed colors, typography. Container is basically how you want the site to look, the border around it. If you want it to look compressed and all, look at this now. These two are not the same. This one is boxed, whereas this one is full. So the website will be expanded. Don't worry, when you start designing, you do that, but I prefer using boxed. So this is just that for the container. Then your buttons, you can choose the kind of buttons that you want to have on your site. How you want your buttons to be, like your primary buttons. Oh, I don't have a button yet, but if I did, it will show you. So you can choose the kind of button you want. If you want plain button, yeah, you choose whatever you want. I like using these two. I toggle between them for main and for, yeah. So I like using these two. You can choose your button color, your text color, your button color. Use basically, yeah, so stuff like this. Then this is for hover. When you hover, the color should change. So let me do something like this. When I add the button, you see to maintain this thing. Or let me, if there is a button on this page, there's no button. Can I just edit this page and add a button? Yeah, but for now, you understand what it is. So we've talked about border radius from our last class, padding. You can also do the same thing for your buttons. So you do that, just finish looking at the global settings, then coming to header. The header is like this top part of your website. This part, that's your header, where you have your logo and your menu. So this is your header. You see it here, site logo. You can change the site logo by picking a logo, but your logo should be, there's a particular dimension. Now you see this, that, so it's trying to crop my logo for me. So crop it. Now watch, I have a logo. Yeah. So I can reduce the width. See that? You don't want the logo as big as that. Reduce it most likely to 150 thereabout. But let it know if you get on that. Then if you notice my logo text is showing, I can remove that. Look at it, it's saying site title. Site title visibility or inline. Now you see this inline off. I don't need any of them. So I'm making it invisible for laptop. Notice it has gone out. Making it invisible for tablet, and I'm making it invisible for phones. So we are gone out from there. Then site icon, I think I've already showed us what site icon is. It is the logo at the top of your page, like when you're looking at it from the browser. That logo you see there as a site icon. I already have a site icon for this. If you noticed from my last class, I put you there. So that's how it works. Where were we? We were on header, right? So talked about the site logo, fix that. Then your menu. The menu is supposed to be from the next class. Let me see. Okay, still while we are here, let's look at the menu since it's already part of this class. You have different, you've already seen the logo, talk about that. Then now your off canvas menu. Your off canvas menu is the kind of menu you see when you are on tab. Let me show you what the off canvas menu looks like. So this is the off canvas menu. This thing that looks like the hamburger, right? So that's the off canvas menu. Same thing, you see it usually for a tab or for the mobile view. So if you click on the off canvas menu, you can add you can configure your menu. You can configure your menu from here, or you can configure your menu from your dashboard. But let's show you how to, I'll show you how to do that both ways. Your primary menu, let's say I want to create a new menu now. Let's call it main menu. So if you create the main menu, you can choose where you want it to be. Your primary menu is your header menu, that's the main menu. Secondary menu is, if you have different sections, you can use that secondary menu. Then off canvas menu, already showed you what the off canvas is. Then login account. Now, login account is if you are using, we've talked about users. If you have a user, the menu that they will see when they log in, that's that. Then the footer menu is this menu at the bottom. You can configure a menu here. You can even create more menus that you can choose wherever you want them to be placed. But this primary, secondary, off canvas, logged in, and footer are basically your placements. So let's say I want the name of the menu to be main menu, and I want to place it at the primary menu. You can check for other things, but it's not good to have the same menu for everything. So I've created a menu. Now you need to add the links that are attached to that menu. You need to add the links. So what do? It will show me I can add different links here. These are the pages I have currently. So these are only the pages I can add. But this is not all I can add on the menu. You can also add pages that you've not created, or pages to other places. I can even add a watch. If I create a home page, I can add a home page here. Are you seeing that now? I can add this. I can adjust it by dragging and moving. So you see this, if I click on home, now it tells me to do what I want. It's telling me plenty things that I may need to add. Title, attribute, CSS, however, if it's a page. But this is, I created a page, but that page does not exist yet. So you can actually choose pages. You can make custom links. Custom links are, let's say you want to push people directly to a particular section of your listing. Let's say I've not created a shop, but I want to send people to my shop. I can just do this. Write the direct link to that shop. Direct link, let me copy this, /shop. So you can do something like this. So there are different ways to add links. You can use the custom link. You can choose from your pages. You can use a post. Let's look at this business. So you can add a post directly if you want, but I will not encourage you to put a post here. I'll teach more about what you need based on the kind of business that you're using. So categories. Now, if for your footer menu, when you start doing your footer menu, you may want to consider categories. Let's say you have a shop. You may want to use different categories. Tags, you could also do that, formats, whatever you want to do. So this is basically how to add a menu. If I publish this, let's notice something. If I click on this, you remember our old menu, home, privacy policy, and sample page. But now if I click on this menu, watch, about us, home, policy, sample. This is the new menu I have created. Let me go back to, okay, still on menus. See this, I can make this my primary menu. So let's see what I can have here. It's my primary menu, so, and it's not my off canvas menu. So let me do that. If I set it to off canvas, this off canvas menu will change. Now look at it, it has changed from home, shop, and about. Home, shop, home, about, and shop. So you see how it is. You just need to play around your menus, know what your menus can do. So having discussed menus, let's go back to our theme customizer. We discussed header, where you see in the menu. Transparent header, okay, I will talk about this when we start designing properly. But once you're designing your pages, you can have transparent headers and you can just have your normal headers. So you see why this is the tab view, because of what I toggled here. If I change this, it will go back to go to mobile, whereas we are designing on the laptop view. So this, when you're trying to design responsive websites, you need to ensure that you are checking the views and how they are supposed to be. So moving on, we just play around this. So you have your elements. These are the things that we could do. Then these are the designs. You know margin already. So let's say I want to change this. You see this? I can change the design and change the background of my header to become red. Now you see how those things are being done. It's because now I click on this, which is the full section. And go back to normal. See this. This is the full section. If I click on this, and make it whatever I want. Let me leave it at white. But now you know how it is. I want to do only the logo aspects. I can design that and make the logo section. Yeah, logo color. Can do all that, the background around the logo. See that? But I don't need that. I'm just showing you what and what you can do. So let's go back. Let's go back. You understand what design is. Same thing, but just then your post types, blog and archive. Once we start implementing other things on our page, you get to be able to design this. Now there's no blog on this page, so there's nothing much we can do. Once we fully install the theme, or you get to, I will come back to this maybe when I install the blog and show us how to do that. Single post. These are basically blog posts. These first two, blog and archive, is on your blog page where all your blog posts will show at once. That's the blog/archive. And the single post is for a particular blog post, how you want it to look. This is where you customize all that. I already explained some of these things, but if you play around it, you would know better. Then single page. This is for each of the pages, like your home page, your about page, your all those smaller pages that you'll be creating, or your privacy policy pages. That's where you can customize them, how you want for each and every one of them to look like. Then your search page, basically the same procedure. You want to integrate search on your website. Then we move to the general breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is, let me see if I would need to, let's finish installing the theme. If it would save us a couple of things. Let me go back to my dashboard. Back to our dashboard. Let's see. So let me go to plugins. Each theme has some required plugins, right? If you buy a predetermined theme, it will, one of the first things they tell you to do is to install all the plugins. That are required. If you don't install the plugins, you may not be able to work. So we Astra. So Astra will also tell you to install some other things and some other plugins that you would need. Start customizing. We've already done some customization. Let me see. Let me see what this would say. Oh, it's taking us back to customize. So maybe we should just finish customization before we get into plugins. So starter templates are, yes, this is another thing. Why I like using Astra. It has what we call starter templates. This starter template is like a plugin, but it gives you all the pages at once. It creates that template for you of the pages, like I told us earlier. So let me just do that. I can install starter template. This is a plugin. I know I've not told us about plugin, but maybe I've activated starter templates. Then let me see. I know it will go and install some plugins. So let it just load. It will force us to do some things. But it creates the template, and I would have used it to show you what a breadcrumb is. A breadcrumb is like all those small names and links that appear under the pages. Let me see. Widgets homepage setup, plugins. Okay, we've already started talking plugins, but let me just finish this. Let me finish. We've done almost everything on customizer, but I'm not building with AI. I want to build with templates. So we are building. You can either build with block editor or the Elementor. I know this is far ahead in module 3, where we can look at this. I will explain this, but let me go back to our themes and appearances. Let me choose Elementor. So you can choose a theme. You can choose a theme based on what you want. Let's say you want to build a shop, anything, a one-page website. However, you can use this for a clothing store. Let me choose. Where is that again? This. So if I choose this, a lot of things will go. All the customization that I have done before will automatically be lost because I am importing something. So it will, if you notice, it already has its own text, images, and everything. So if I install this, it will go as if this is my site. Like this will become my new site. Every other thing I've been doing will just disappear. So before I disappear them, let's finish our design. Before I disappear them, let's go back to our design. Then let's finish our lesson on customization so that we know that when we are going from our next class, we have started the design proper. We've already installed starter templates. So if I go to pages, no plugins, you will see that the starter template plugin has already been installed. So we've done header, we've done post types, we've looked at general. So sidebar, I talked about breadcrumb, but I will explain it when I put the other one, when I install the other template. Sidebar is like when you open a blog page, all those notes that are towards the right, where you can say read more, comments, most frequent comments, all those things. That's the sidebar. Scroll to top is a feature that if your page is very long, scroll to top is like a button at the bottom that would lead you back to the top of your page. Like look at this now. You have this one here. It will take you back to the top. That's how the scroll to top works. So you can change the color of the scroll to top button from your customizer. Okay, even from here to background color, let me change it to black. So you see that automatically it has changed. Then if I toggle, it should change to red. Now you see this. So that's how the scroll to top works. So let's go back. Accessibility, global highlights, inputs, site accessibility, that's for Google. Okay. So you get that sorted. Then block editor, then miscellaneous. Once you start, if you install other plugins, you see some other features for miscellaneous, like the shop features. Then for your footer, scroll down. You already know this is our footer. This is what it looks like. You can change the text here. You can change the text. You can add other things. This is what it looks like. Site title, word powered by author. No, I remove that. So you see automatically that's what it looks like. That's how it works. Copyright, write anything. If you want to add links, if you want, this is the footer. If you want here, you can come here and add widgets. You can add widget, you can add the footer menu. You remember when I told you about footer menu? Yes, that's something you can add here also. But there's no footer menu, that's why this place is blank. If I create a footer menu, or if I just go back now and create a footer menu, let me configure a menu. And I choose one menu, the main menu now. Once I put that, you see that I have a menu here. See how it works? So if I publish this and I open it on my site, you will see that our menu will appear and our footer text will change. That's how it works. It's as simple as that. But once we start designing, we can be able to do much more. So let's go back. Site identity, we've done that. We've done footer, we've done site identity. The menus, we've done that. Your widgets. Your team has 7 widget areas, but this particular page has nothing, has none of them. So once widgets show on different aspects, particularly on customized pages and on shops. So that's where you can put widgets. So your homepage setting, you can choose. Do you want your homepage to be your latest post? Like any post you create recently will just become your homepage. That's if you have a blog page, if you have a blog rather, that's how you should do it. But if you have a static page, which is like a portfolio website, you need to choose a static page such that your home page remains your home page, your about page remains your about page, so that it does not change and all that. So you need to choose what you want. If I choose my home page now as my home page, post page, that's where you want your blog post to be. If I set this now, whenever you go to, okay, I've saved this. If I click on home, you see a blank page here. You see, this is a blank page because I have not created a home page. I have not edited that. So let's go back. I'll just leave this as this. Once we start editing, additional CSS, if you want to write any code or anything, you have the space to write additional CSS so that your site will look like what it is. So this is a simple rundown on your customizer. This simple rundown on your customizer. We've looked at themes, the free themes, premium themes, how to install and activate your theme, how to customize your theme, your menus, widget, and your home page setup. So in our next class, we will look at your essential plugins. We've already installed one plugin. I know we did not look at that in detail, but we've already installed one plugin, which is, can you remember? Starter templates, correct. So if I come to plugins now, you see that starter templates, it's now here as a plugin, but we will proceed further with our next class. That will be a separate video so that this video will not be too long, so that you can take it step by step. We just finished lesson 5, which is themes and site appearance. Then your first site is to just install a theme. Your task rather will be to install a theme and just pick one theme, install it, get ready for the next one. We look at plugins. Plugins will not be too long because we just need to install the plugins and see basic ones that we need. Then we get into module 3 quickly. One of the plugins that we need is the Elementor, and we start building instantly.